There's only one man who can introduce our next guest.
Number 15, and Norm Smith medalist, Luke Hodge.
Hodgie, yeah, nice. Thanks for coming in.
No problems. I'm actually surprised you're talking to me.
Well, Hodgie, the first thing he said was, "You're going to have a go at me?" No, you wouldn't have got much pushback, would you? I reckon every Hawk, you're retired, you want to go to Brisbane. I don't have any problem with it at all.
Yeah, I think it was more the initial surprise. As I told Mum and Dad, they were initially surprised as well. But once you sort of explain through the process that we went through and the reasons why we're going up there. Yeah, they understood, and yeah, we're happy with it. And we've had the book signing on Saturday at Waverley, and we got a lot more people out there than we expected. So yeah, the Hawthorn people have always been very supportive, and this continues.
How hard was it to sell it to Lauren?
Look, Loss has always been supportive with football, so she understands football only goes for a short part of your life. If I had said that we're going to Canberra to live, I'm not sure she would have been that happy with it. But going up to Brisbane, we've never really been to. She'd never been to Brisbane. Last time I was there was 2008. So we went for a look through the city, and it looked beautiful. And our kids are at the right age, so we had to tick all those boxes about family and kids and making sure that's the right decision before I thought about the football, and we're happy with it.
How long do you reckon you can play on? Sorry.
How long? Mentally, I reckon I'll want to play until I'm about 50. But I think as long as you handle your body okay, and I've been very lucky at Hawthorn that Andrew Russell has managed the older guys really well. So, and that's what Fagan and Damien Austin have sort of set up at Brisbane, that you're not going to go into 100% of pre-season, because as soon as you do that, the older blokes break down. So I won't be playing 20, 22 games. We'll be more smarter on looking after your body and just helping develop the kids so they, in a couple of years, are better players.
Trying to think who told me this story. Who was the coach when you went to Hawthorn? Was it Judgy or Swabby?
Swabby.
Yeah, Swabby, I reckon, told me this story. Are you aware of what Michael Turner said when the Hawthorn people interviewed him about you?
I think it might have been something along the lines of you'd pick him or you'd be embarrassed or something like that. And
there was a swear word in it, but he said the Hawks, John Turnbull, I think, interviewed Michael Turner, who was your coach at the Falcons.
Your general manager, yep.
Yeah, general manager. And he left. And they're getting their notes to speak to the next recruiting person, and the door opens, and Michael Turner sticks his head back in and says, "Pick him, or you'll embarrass yourself."
That's Mick's always on the front foot, so backs his players.
I remember your first game was against Richmond, I think.
Yes, round 5, 2002. So
I was with all me mad Hawthorn mates, Sly and Cause and all those and people, and you started punching on, I think, with Brad Ottens, and we thought, hey, this kid's got something.
Yeah, I remember he was trying to take me to the goal square because he had a bit of a height and weight advantage on me. And I remember as a kid, always when we played in the country, you always played above your age group. So when you're 12, you're playing 17s, and when you're 15, you're playing seniors. And Dad and the coach always said, never get bullied round, so always fight back. So I thought, at least if I'm pushing him there and fighting him on the side, he's not going to take a mark on the goal square. So it worked.
Talking about having done things with kids who are older than you, Bocker, the Hawthorn recruiting guy, says that when he went down, I think, to Colac to interview, you were driving somewhere in the country, and he was getting a bit tired, and you actually didn't have a licence, but you said, that's all right, move over, I'll drive.
No, I was 16. I had my L's.
Right.
And Bocker was sitting there listening to the Big O. And I'm like, who the hell is it? I had no idea who it was. It was a very long drive with Bocker. He gave us a big rundown of the Big O and Elvis and everyone. So it was entertaining.
Right, so you just said, you're a bit tired, I'll drive, I'll do some of the driving.
Yeah, he was going about 60 in 100 zone as well, so it made the trip go a bit quicker.
I remember watching you late in your career, late in your Hawthorn career, and I was behind the goals. So you were down the other end, you came out of defence at one stage, you got the ball, you kicked it to a teammate and automatically pointed. I can't help noticing that the cover photograph you're pointing, the inside cover you're pointing, when did you start pointing? Because you've become one of the great pointers in league football.
Yeah, I guess on the footy field, sometimes when you're playing on, say, Adelaide Oval or MCG and packed crowds, is you can't hear people. So as long as you get their attention and point in the direction, and it's also a lot easier when your man gets away. If you point to someone to get your man, you don't have to chase him. So no, it was. I think a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I meet, when you start talking about football, they realise I don't run a hell of a lot, but I do point a fair bit.
Do you know what number you're going to have at Brisbane?
They put in number requests last week, but they go through a bit of because a lot of players want to change numbers. So I think I put down either there's a couple of numbers, maybe a roughie or a Gunners or a couple of that I've thrown up, but whatever they give me, I'll be happy with.
Right, you don't want 15?
Dane Zorko's got 15, right, and he's won their last 3 BNFs. So I'm tipping walking to a new club. You can't really tell him to move over.
How long do you reckon you'll live up there? I mean, is the plan to play as long as you can and then coach?
Yeah, the plan is I've got a playing contract for 2 years, and then from that is I'm going to do a lot more hands-on with the coaching, the coding, the feedback. It's almost like an intro into coaching, and then from that you don't know. If I really enjoy the coaching side of things, and it's working well up there, then I'll stay up there for as long as we do. But I guess 2 years a long way away. I guess 2 years ago I wouldn't be saying they'll be moving up to Brisbane to play for them. So I guess we'll take it each year at a time, but it's a minimum 2, and then if we really enjoy it and coaching is really appealing, then we'll stay longer.
The book is called The General by Luke Hodge. Looking back at Luke Hodge growing up in Colac, did you think you'd write a book one day?
No, and if it was, it would have been a dot-to-dot or a colouring in book. I think if you look back, and even then, when we started to write the book, I was a little bit hesitant at the start, just because I'm like, oh, no one really will care about it. But then when I sort of started talking to a few people, they sort of said the journey of a very raw kid when I got drafted. When I got drafted, I could play football, and I knew I had the ability on the footy field, but what I had to learn off the footy field is why I wrote it. There's so many players now going through that are getting drafted, either high draft picks or even coming into the system, and they really struggle with it, and that's what I went through. So I think, and then to have a lot of support people around that you can talk to, I think that's a big reason why I wanted to write it, because you can come a long way if you're happy to talk to people and open up.
Hodgie, good luck with it. I've been flicking through it. There's some grubbing up to the 2008 Grand Final. Unbelievable stuff. The book, The General by Luke Hodge. And everyone at Hawthorn sweat, mate. Don't you worry about that. No one's going to crack it with you.
Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Luke Hodge.